Hello, welcome to my channel. In this episode, I will be reviewing an African violet called Anne. It was hybridized by Betty Bryant and registered with the African Violet Society of America in 1987 under the registration number 6649. This hybrid is a very well-known hybrid. Many growers grow it. I love it personally. It's truly beautiful and very special. It was derived from the seed parent variety called Lady Martha and the pollen parent variety called Texas Sunbonnet. What you see in front of you is a young plant, and it's at the end of its first blooming cycle. There's still some blooms left. And I wanted to show it to you before I remove them all because it's due for repotting into a larger size pot. You see how the diameter needs to be about 1/3 of the rosette's diameter, but now it's smaller, so I gotta repot it right after I make this video. And it's a good idea to remove the blooms when repotting, because what you want for the plant to do once it has been repotted into the fresh soil, you want it to adjust to the new potting mix first, to grow the healthy roots, to grow the foliage first, and then prepare for the next blooming cycle. So I will have to remove all of these. Anne has very unique foliage, and it's known for its unique foliage. And you will instantly recognize it by the color and the shape of its leaves. This type of leaves is called longifolia, which is in Latin elongated leaves. It stands for elongated leaves in Latin, longifolia. The leaves are quilted. You can see how they're like a quilt, and then cupped, glossy, and ruffled. So you see little ruffles here, and they're also glossy, they're shiny and the light. They're also variegated, and they have the white and pink variegation on the edge. Really beautiful. I really love the leaves in this variety. At this point, the rosette has grown up to about 11 inches in diameter, but because it's a large standard variety, it will definitely grow larger as the plant matures. Now let's talk about the blooms. So they are not very large blooms, but they are decent size and they're very pretty. They are double flowers of rose pink tones. They're frilled, and they have a two-tone center, which is darker in the center of the bloom. And then they have some edge around the petals. Now in the warmer growing conditions, the edge is not really pronounced, but you can definitely see the two-tone colors, darker on the younger blooms, and then the blooms become lighter as they mature. Here you can see the two tones here. The edge, again, it might be more pronounced in the cooler temperatures, and since we are in end of October now, we have to wait until it cools down here in Southern California for the edge to be more pronounced. So the flowers are about an inch and a half in diameter, and as far as size here, a size comparison to a dime coin, you can see they're not super large, but they're decent. I really like the blooms as well. Here they are. So each stem carries several buds. So here's a brand new stem with the buds, and we have 6 buds coming out, which unfortunately I have to remove them, so because again I'll be replanting. But here you can see 5 open on one stem, so it blooms quite nicely. Yeah, I have to say though that it's a slow bloomer. It at first wants to grow a largish rosette before it even begins to bloom in comparison to other varieties. So I was pleasantly surprised to see the first blooming buds coming out on this plant earlier this year. I was very happy that it was comfortable enough so it was ready to bloom. So that's the blooms that I got from that. This variety grows on my west facing window under a combination of LED lights and the natural light. The LED bulbs that I currently grow it under is a combination of 2 lights. One is a 65K cool white light, and another one is 3000K LED, which is a warm light. So, and it seems to be enjoying this setting since it's blooming, because I know it's a picky plant and it's not easy to make it bloom. So I grow it on a wick. Right now there's no liquid in the reservoir because it's ready to be repotted. But normally what I do, I use the regular tap water. I let it stand for a while in case there's any chlorine in the water, then I let it evaporate. I haven't done the chemical analysis of my tap water yet, so I'm just relying just on observing the plants and see what they, if they like the water or not. So far so good. I use a very weak dosage of balanced fertilizer. I currently use a super weak dosage because it's again at the end of the warm season, and it's not recommended to give too much fertilizer when it's hot out. So I just use a bonsai fertilizer that I got at my local nursery that has equal proportions of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium at 1, 1, and 1. So it's really weak dosage, and I use half a teaspoon, I believe, per gallon of water. Not every time, maybe every other time when I add the liquid into the reservoir. I also run the cool mist humidifier and a fan to prevent the formation of mildew, and so my fans are on 24/7, and the humidifier it's almost always on, except when it gets over 60%, then I turn it off. But normally I try keeping it at between 40 and 50% humidity. So that's pretty much it about this plant. Here it is again, Anne by Bryant. I hope you enjoyed it. I love this variety, and I had a good time sharing it with you today. Stay tuned for my future African violets reviews. Thank you all so very much for watching.